seeds, but I will share with you there are a couple of aspects that can make emotions spiral out of control, especially if you've had one drink too many, or you carry one opinion too many. I can just see the battlefields at Thanksgiving tables where someone dares to breathe one word one way or another about whomever is headed for the White House. And give them a drink or give them a joint of pot, if that's how you say it. I'm not sure, but you get the meaning. It's going to be all over the map. So I would be very careful to keep things in moderation. You may not have a lot to say that day, which would be healthier for you, because actually fists could be flying. That's how intense certain energy could be right around dinner time. Or let me take a better look at that. Yeah, dinner time and a little 8 o'clock in the evening. So now people are getting a little tired and cantankerous, and the kids are whining and people are cranky. So heads up and do your best to be what you really are, which is a person who is a carrier of light. Do your best to step into that role, please. You'll be much happier, and you may not come away with a black eye. Okay, I do encourage you, once again, if you feel like it, please call in 321-806-3159, 321-806-3159. Some of you just may want to share your happiest thoughts of Thanksgiving, or the Thanksgiving that really went amok. You know, Thanksgiving is one of those days. It's the best of days, and it's the most treacherous of days, because you're supposed to be so happy. I remember my happiest Thanksgiving was probably about 7 or 8 years ago, when my sister, who was still alive at the time, I had just started a new adventure in California, and she journeyed out to be with me for Thanksgiving. I knew nothing, I knew no one, and she knew less than that. And so Thanksgiving Day dawned, and I didn't even have a pot or a pan in the house. It was that new. And we decided we would take a ride up the Pacific coast. And up we headed aimlessly but happily, and the wind was howling. And as we went further north, because this was in Northern California, it got a little chillier and a little chillier. And finally, we're now hungry. It's about 4 p.m, and we're hungry campers ready for some form of Thanksgiving. And not only were there no restaurants, nothing was open to begin with. And yet, over a cliff, there was a little Mexican casita restaurant that we pulled to. We had the most magical, happiest Thanksgiving possible. Quietly, lovingly, celebrating each other, the Pacific Ocean, and the most ridiculous combination of food. Not a turkey in sight. And it was my best ever. So please call in and share some of your Thanksgivings. I'd love to hear it. All right, so let me see what else Sag is going to be doing for you. Oh, good old Sag. It brings opportunities. So keep your antenna up for opportunities. There's golden opportunities in the month of December if your antenna is up and if you're ready and if it's your time. It's a time where it's easier to reach goals and actually manifest some of your objectives. The little string, of course, the catch is you have to know what your objectives are, and it would be awfully helpful to have a goal, to know what you're going to reach. Sag also, you see, Sag is ruled by the magical planet Jupiter, which is expansion and benevolence. People love to be born under the sign of Sagittarius because it's just goodness personified. Unless, of course, it's the downside of Sag, which is overly jovial, Mr. Backslapper at his worst, and the complete knockdown, fallout drunk. So you see, every sign has its wonderful spots and can easily sink into the depths of uh-oh. Sagittarius generally also brings with it being in the right place at the right time. Anytime that happens to you, that you just all of a sudden instinctively understand, oh, I was just in the right place at the right time. What good luck, what good fortune. That's a day actually where Jupiter was activating something in your chart very, very constructively. And generally, the Sagittarian themselves, or a person with Sag rising, more often than not, dang it, they are lucky and they're in the right place at the right time. Sometimes it actually seems as if things just fall into their lap with little or no effort. And it's true. Sometimes things do just fall into their lap and good fortune strikes. My son is a Sagittarius, and after he graduated from college, he took a year off to work, and then he decided he wanted to become an architect. And his dear mother was kind of probably not right on board initially, thinking, oh my goodness, number one, where am I going to get the money to help him do this? And number two, he has absolutely zero background in architecture. Well, my son researched it and plotted and looked around and decided this is a good school. This will help me with monies, da-da-da-da. And so he applied, almost by the seat of his pants, he applied to a wonderful school called Georgia Tech up in Atlanta. And we then had to go up there for the interview. And again, I'm thinking, oh, we look like two hillbillies from South Florida, no real financial oomph behind us, and no large portfolio, nothing. And that week, I don't know whether we looked so pathetic or what, that week he got the call. He was one of 15 chosen for this program. That's the kind of luck of the Sagittarius. Now, I will tell you, it wasn't pure luck. He's a bright man, and he certainly did as much due diligence to prepare for whatever kind of test you need to test yourself to become an architect. So the work was there, the intention was there, the drive was there, the goal was there, and the universe then smiled upon him, as the universe often does for Sagittarian energy. Interestingly, some of you are listening and probably whining or pouting with, I'm not a Sagittarian, and I beg to differ with you. 1/12 of your chart has Sagittarian energy, if not more. It's just learning to tap in. Where is that energy? Is it hidden? Do you need to bring it forth? Is it in your house of communication? Is it in your house of marriage? Is it in your career? It's somewhere. That's the value of looking into yourself. You're really worth looking into. I don't know how many of you look into yourself, but you're pretty special, and you might find yourself rather interesting if you took the time to contemplate and research and investigate the essence of you. Under the sign of Sagittarius, this is something for all signs. You can actually begin a whole new direction and plot out a new course. So that's fun. Now, I say that cautiously. We are in the last month of the year. By the December 1st, we will be there. And entering that month, it is an ending month, and it's an ending year, and it is the cycle of Christmas. So the stars would have to really be twinkling on you for the sense of total new beginnings. It may be that the new beginnings come after the first of our universal year, 2017, or after the first of the Chinese New Year, which will be January 28th. So there's many waves, if you will. And you are a wave in the ocean. You're not separate from the ocean. You're just a wave in it. And the ocean will push you and your dreams up onto the shore when it wants to and when you're ready. So there's lots of opportunities here. It's also a time where you can intensify things that need to be intensified or emphasized can easily be emphasized. Now, you want to be careful with that because emphasis can go both ways. Let's suppose you're in a crummy relationship. It can be emphasized. You know, it's kind of like that you're always going to these parties and your partner drives you nuts. Well, it can be exacerbated and emphasized. But so can your be emphasized now. People can recognize you, and it's called a bonus, and it's called a round of thanks, and tribulations for your hard work, for who you are, for what you've done. So it's truly a lovely time. Ambitions. Look at your ambitions. Do your ambitions actually suit the you that you are now? You may still be clinging to some ambitions that you put in place, or parents put in place, or teachers put in place years ago. And quite frankly, if you were authentic, you no longer have any drive or joy or love or ambition for what it is you're doing. So in a cycle of closure, and I know the world is uncomfortable with this, you're free to throw it all overboard. You're free to just start again. You know, if you dream of a lovely, place to live and you're not there now, what's wrong with finding it? Yes, it takes a little work. It might take a little digging. It might take rolling up your sleeves. And it might take you giving up what you're clinging to that oftentimes is making you sick. If you're sick right now, take a good look at what needs to be dropped. What is the emotional baggage that once you drop it, the sickness can heal? Healing is instantaneous when you welcome it. And I know that goes against all conventional medicine. Which is why, when I had my little boo-boo a couple of weeks ago, there was no way I would go near a Western doctor. I didn't want them to feed me their drugs and their line of thinking. All healing is in this moment. And that's true for every moment. I think you're going to need a lot of patience, especially up in the Northeast at this time. Any of you that are rushing around, be careful, because patience is going to be tested. And when you learn the patience, you will persevere and overcome some obstacles. So don't allow yourself to become rattled or dismayed if things become time crunched or too tough. Just let it be. Sometimes you have to cut your losses. Sometimes you have to pick up the pieces and begin again. You'll know the time. You'll know what to do. All right, so that's a bit about Sagittarius. And all right, I've talked about Thanksgiving a little bit. One of the things that I'm very thankful for this year is my newfound love affair with talking to you on the radio. I get to love you with my voice, with my thoughts, with my feelings, in a way that I never could if I didn't have this wonderful opportunity. So it's probably one of the bigger things that I am most thankful as a happening for in 2016. Look to the things that seem to be good, and look to the things that seem to be, in your judgment, less than good. Sometimes they're the better things. I'm also thankful for, at the beginning of this year, a strong, very strong bout of bronchitis that actually